how you teach Jainism in Prague University and how many students?
Okay.
What made you take interest in
Your
early childhood in India?
Shall I repeat that? How
Yeah,
I
yeah,
became
little bit, yeah,
interested in
because
Chinese?
a lot of people are new.
Okay. Yes. Well, so my wife would be bored because she knows the story very well, but I say it again. Well, in 1968, we started the way to freedom in Czechoslovakia, but unfortunately, Russian tanks came in the same way as they had come to Crimea recently, and our freedom was crushed. And so-called normalization started. And I was very, very depressed in that time, and I did not know what to do. And I decided to escape somehow from within, and I wanted to escape to another world. And so I started to learn Hindi, which sounded very exotic in the language school. And of course, because our country, well, we were not allowed to travel anywhere. So to learn Hindi, it was the same as if I was learning the language from Venus or Mars, because I never believed I could ever go there. Well, so I started to learn Hindi, and the professor who was teaching us gave me a book on Jainism. And the history of that book is also very interesting. It was written by Professor Pertol in 1938. Professor Pertol was a big lover of India. He traveled all over India, wrote many books about it, and maybe one day some of them could be translated into English, because he also traveled to the tribal people and well, very remote villages. So some of his notes can be very precious for the generations to come. And unfortunately, until now, it's only in Czech language. Well, he also wrote a book on Jainism, and in 1938, when the book was about to be printed, the German occupation came, and the war broke. Well, the book was not printed, and in 1945, when the war was over, he remade the book and wanted to print it again, but 1948 communist push came, and the book was not released either. Well, meanwhile, he died, and in 1968, when the so-called Prague Spring started, his followers did not wait for anything and printed it as a university press in an old-fashioned copy machine where you had to move the handle by hand, and well, and the paper is, you know, half soaked, but you can read it. And they managed to put it together, but before the book came to be sold, the Russian tanks came, and the book was forbidden. So, but the professors did not destruct it, they hid it and gave it to some students. And well, I was one of those students who were given that book, and I read it, and that was how my interest in Jainism started. Well, then I read a lot about Gandhi and Ahimsa, and in the end, I came to summer school of Jainism to India in 2010, and I spent 6 weeks there, and since then I was there again, and now, well, I have had access to Jain e-library, and I was given some book by Vinod Kapashi and so on. So this is how I started to be interested, because I think that in Jainism there are many values which could be inspiring for other people too. So that was how I became interested in Jainism.
Any question that I can put my hand? So when he was 10 years old, he was in Mumbai because his parents were in Czech embassy there in Mumbai. So he knew India very well. And then he stayed in Rajasthan when he started studying, and led a very simple life. So I see him doing his work in Charles University, and I was very much impressed. So I was always thinking about inviting him over here. I'm glad he has come. Any questions? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Sir.
I'd just like to know about your views. I mean, first of all, your knowledge about Jainism is amazing. I just think it's really well, the way you captured everything is really good. And you talked about the Kal Chakra, and you talked about the fact that Jainism is quite unique in the way that the changing of times is responsible for the human societies.
Yes.
How do you feel about the environment now, the ozone layer, and everyone's blaming the activities and behaviours of man and actually consuming too much of the resources, hence it's causing all this? Do you think it is man, or do you think it's changing of time?
The changes caused by the time, it's something we cannot do anything against, So we could take it from a pessimistic point of view or optimistic point of view, because we know for sure that in certain point it will get better. And so we are free to be involved in things for improvement, everything, because we know that in the end it's not only us who can influence it, So from my point of view, there is a big hope behind it, It's nothing fatalistic like people may think, Well, it's certain kind of hope. I know that I can involve myself in things, engage myself for better, and I don't have to feel depressed when things are not turning out well. So, I can protest against consuming society by not having TV, in spite of the fact that every year I read the statistic reaching the TV set selling, So my one single TV does not influence that much, but I don't mind. I'm still very happy without TV. And, you say that I lead a simple life. Well, I am slightly ashamed when you say so, because when I came to an Indian village, so to compare with them, my life is very rich, I don't starve. In fact, I have everything I want, and the things I don't have, those are the things I don't want. Because I don't need them, Well, recently I was invited to one conference in India next year, and they wrote that they would fix me a hotel. I don't know how they put it, the hotel according to my state. And I replied, I don't want a hotel. I want to live somewhere simple, maybe in some kind of mandir accommodation or in a family, because I hate these posh hotels. So that's, and there is, I don't think it's something ascetic from me, because I take it for normal, So that's, in fact, it would be much worse for me to live in that poshy hotel than with somebody on his clay floor. So that's, So is that what you asked for?
No, I was asking your views about whether, that what's happening to the environment and the
Well,
use of resources. Do you think it's a man-caused cause, result of that, or is it due to changing times?
Well, of course, as we can see it, it's caused by man, obviously. But it corresponds with the Kal Chakra, so if you are patient enough and wait 80,000 years, you will live in much happier time.
We're lucky since we've got Jain Dharma